So number 5 and 6 from worksheet 2. First job is to draw the triangles. Cotangent is x over y. Can't be in quadrant 4. But if it's negative, it's got to be 2 or 4, so we draw it in quadrant 2. 8 is the x, y is 15, and the negative is 8. And then it's an 8, 15, 17 triangle. Or Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Sine of y is negative. Sine is negative in the down stuff. So that means in 3 or 4, except it can't be in 4. So it's got to be in 3. Opposite is 7. Hypotenuse is 25. 25, the hypotenuse won't ever be negative, so the 7 is negative because it's going down. And then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Tells you 24, and be careful, it's going left, so it's negative. So we get our pictures drawn. Then we reference our equation, our formulas for sine of x minus y. Write that down, and then just start filling in the pieces. So sine of x was opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine of y is adjacent over hypotenuse. Cosine of x, so go to x. Cosine is x over hypotenuse. Sine of y, so make sure we go to y. Sine is negative 7 over 25. And what's probably the best, safest way to solve from there? Calculator. Don't. And you can use the fraction bars if you like. If you find it annoying to type in all the fraction bar stuff, then you can use parentheses and divided by.
What is the fraction bar?
As long as you're careful. So I'm not a huge fan of the fraction bar because it takes a while, especially do it 4 times. Well, that's why we use the calculator. If you like the fraction bar, then yeah, it's alpha F1. And the first option is n over d, numerator over denominator. And so you can do it this way. And I guess it's not too bad, especially if you want to make sure you get it right. Minus. It's also nice because it looks exactly like what's on the paper. So you're less likely to mess something up. I'm doing it to check my work here. Make sure I get the same thing both times. And I did. I guess the nice thing about the fraction bar is if you put it all in with fraction bars, the calculator assumes you want a fraction answer, so it gives you a fraction answer. So on the quiz and on the test, make sure you show this much work. Obviously, I know you're going to the calculator from here, and that's fine, but don't just put the answer, okay? Because I will not give you credit for that. I'll assume you checked your neighbor rather than work the problem. You don't want me assuming that about you. Number 6, tangent. Tangent's a pain, but with a calculator, it's not a big deal. It's just, I guess it's still a pain. It's just the calculator's problem, not my problem. So the final answer to number 5 was negative 416 over 425. Number 6, again, be careful. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Minus opposite over adjacent. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the negatives just so it just makes typing it in a little easier. Saves me a little bit. Over 1 plus 15 over negative 8 times 7/24. Now I'm ready for the calculator. And again, alpha F1, a lot of times for this one, but it still works. And you can even do fractions and fractions. And that way you make it look exactly like your paper looks. So it's probably worth the time to type all that in there, because then you know that you don't have to worry about parentheses, and, you know, where they open and close and who's divided by what, because that looks exactly like what I have. I'm double checking because I know the calculator's not gonna make a mistake. The only mistake is if I type something in wrong. Negative 416 over 87. All right, so brief recap. Draw the picture. Double check those pictures, right? Because if your picture's wrong, then you're going to miss everything else. And I will try to grade if you did a wrong picture to see if you got it right from there. But that's going to be very frustrating and annoying to both of us. So double check your pictures to make sure they're right. Pick the right formula. Double check your calculator. So it's not like there's nothing hard in these. It is just a lot of steps and a lot of little places to mess up. So be careful, you know, recheck your work. You'll have plenty of time. So I think you'll be okay as long as you take your time. Don't get in a rush.